The final home series of the season begins tonight. Game number 1 of 3. The AL Central champions, the Cleveland Indians, are in town to take on the White Sox. And we thank you for joining us once again. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone along with you. And the Sox got a face full of Corey Kluber back in Cleveland last week. He's back out to the mound against Dylan Covey, who threw very well against the Indians last week.
Corey Kluber going for number 20, and so he should be around for a while tonight. He's got one more start left after this one, and we'll take a look at him from a couple of days ago, and he was, as he usually is, just awfully tough. That curveball is one of the hardest to hit in all of baseball. It's short, it's quick, and it's late breaking. And Kluber's got just about everything. His ERA is below 3. He throws all strikes, and this is one of baseball's best. And Dylan Covey against the Indians was brilliant. Terry Francona later said, where's he been all year? And the question is, he's been mostly here, but up and down. Some days have been very good. It was very good in Cleveland. The stuff was up to 97, and he threw it very well. And career-wise against the Indians, 1-2, ERA of 4.82 for Dylan Covey, and a guaranteed rate, Corey Kluber, 5-2 with an ERA just below 3. So this is a guy that's going to lead this team into the playoffs, and the question is, how long will he go next time out? We do know he'll go long enough to win his 20th, if in fact he can win it tonight.
Yeah, he's full-fledged Corey Kluber tonight. We'll see about Saturday. But in the playoff picture, the Indians are cemented 3 straight years in the AL Central. And here's what it looks like right now. Cleveland at Houston, the wild card at Boston. Oakland and New York can switch locations, but not positions.
And it was a terrific race. It still will be a terrific playoffs, and there's some very good teams in the American League. I think they're dominant over the National League, but this is one of those years where literally anybody can win. I would think this is going to be a wildly entertaining playoffs, and we'll have to see who gets there at the end, but it's going to be some really good teams going head-to-head. No super team coming out of the National League. The super teams are in the American League.
We'll pin you down on a selection coming up in the next couple innings.
Sounds good. I'll make it.
All right.
Okay.
We'll see about that. And you've got to pick the Cy Young Award as well.
That's easy.
When we come back.
Yeah.
Corey Kluber on the list always. He's won a couple of them. He'll face Covey tonight. Steve will pick his Cy Young winner in the American League in moments.
White Sox baseball is brought to you by your Chicago and Northwest Indiana Hyundai dealers. Test drive a Hyundai today. Xfinity has the largest gig speed network, serving more homes than anyone else. Ford, inviting you to visit your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. Choose Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, the card to carry through it all. Wintrust, home of Sox checking and debit cards. Open an account today at wintrust.com/Sox. And by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Audi dealers. Visit AudiOffers.com for exceptional offers on select Audi models.
1 of 3, and Corey Kluber is on the mound to face the White Sox tonight. Corey Kluber, as typical, is on the list of Cy Young candidates in the American League, but when you look at ERA, there is one clear front runner. Is he your guy? Snell from Tampa Bay? Who is it?
Not only the ERA, but look at the wins and look at the team he pitched for. Look at his body of work this year at 21-5 with a 1.90 ERA. Can you smell that, Snell? Because that is the smell of the Cy Young Award, and he is going to win it. The curveball's been magnificent all year, 21-5. And Snell's had just about everything going for him, and he's been consistent, and he's doing it for a ball club that's over 500, but not overwhelming by any stretch of the imagination. Tampa is not going to get there this year. That usually doesn't affect what happens with the pitcher, but you'd have to think that Snell's overall body of work, both the wins, the ERA, and everything that goes with it, the strikeouts, he's been magnificent. He should win the Cy.
Yeah, 30 starts. He was on the shelf for a little while, but not long enough to take him out of the running. So we'll see if that indeed happens. Corey Kluber gets one more shot at the Sox. This evening, it is also dog night at the ballpark here at Guaranteed Rate Field. And we'll take you to Shambhala when we come back. Offering the fastest internet and best in-home Wi-Fi experience. Call or visit an Xfinity store today. A little chill in the air here at the ballpark tonight. Game 1 of 3 between the Sox and the Cleveland Indians. And Dylan Covey is taken to the mound. He will face this starting lineup for the Cleveland Indians. Greg Allen off the top, then Yandy Diaz and Melky Cabrera, Encarnacion, Alonso, and Gomes, Geyer, Gonzalez, Rosales, with most of the regulars getting the day off today.
Let's take a look at the defense, and this is how Ricky Renteria is going to put them out there with Daniel, Ryan, and Abasail left to right. Jose, Tim, Yomer, and Nicky in the infield, with Kevin Smith getting the nod behind the plate, and Dylan Covey trying to repeat what he did in Cleveland against the Tribe, which was thrown very well on for his 20th start, looking for his 6th win, his ERA at 5.33, and he was brilliant in Cleveland. Hopefully more of the same here tonight. Between strikeouts and sinkers, there was only one fly ball out in that ball game, and hopefully he'll be able to duplicate that with the slider coming in second at 15%. Umpires for the game tonight: Manny Gonzalez has the plate, Andy Fletcher is first base, Jeff Nelson has second, and Laz Diaz has third. So they throw the ball around the infield, which means that we're ready for baseball. And it's time for me to turn it over to the man who heads the new era of White Sox television baseball, Jason Benetti.
You're stuck with me now.
Yeah, it would appear so.
Thank you, Steve. And what a beautiful ceremony yesterday. I watched
really
it at home. It was a wonderful and very fitting tribute and farewell to a man that added so much joy to all of our lives growing up. I speak for everybody from this era of White Sox fans, I think. Thank you, Hawk Harrelson, for everything you've done and for your grace in this transition as well. So we are underway tonight as Greg Allen takes a ball low and outside from Dylan Covey. So Allen gets the start and Diaz and Melky Cabrera. Cleveland wants to throttle down somewhat, but not completely, you'd imagine, for Terry Francona.
I think Terry realizes that although this lineup is one that you're not going to recognize because a few of their big guys are out of the lineup, he wants to keep everybody healthy and ready to go. He's not going to let anybody go on any extended time off before now and the beginning of the playoffs.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Yeah, the question is, how much do you want to take your foot off the gas pedal? And the answer probably is not very much, but you're going to have a couple days in between the last regular season game and your first playoff game. There's strike 3, 1 gone. The Indians clinched this year September 15th, their earliest clinch in 19 seasons. So this is new for them as Covey strikes out Allen.
Good fastball. That one has a little late sink on it, and after falling behind 2-0, Dylan Covey wipes him out with a good fastball.
You know, we see the horizontal movement so often on his sinker. He's got some run to it as well. That was almost dead sink on that fastball.
He's gone through a couple periods where everything he's thrown this year has moved very well, and he's in one of those periods now where he's hard pressed to throw a straight fastball. If that's the case, guys are just not going to be able to square it up all that much.
2 balls, no strikes on Yandy Diaz, who was 2 for 2 against Covey in that last series at Progressive Field. Sox have played Cleveland well here at Guaranteed Rate Field to just about a split at 3-4 in 7 games so far, after finally getting the first win on the road in the series in that game that ran a little later than you may have expected. You and Wimpy?
Yeah, it did go a bit. I mean, it was nice of you to miss that one.
I followed along with every out in my hotel room.
It was like 4.5 hours. Good ending to it.
Certainly did. Diaz a base hit to right, and the first base runner tonight is the Cleveland third baseman.
It's what normally happens when a sinker baller gets the ball up. This is waist high. Try to throw it by him inside, but because there was no sink on it or not a whole lot of run either, Diaz was able to inside out it, take it to right field, and first hit of the night.
How about a Melky Cabrera double play ball?
Well, if he hits it on the ground, that's not all that difficult. Although Melky, only 226 at bats, got off to a very late start this year, has grounded into 10 double plays.
Yeah, on the roster, off the roster, on the roster, off the roster this year for Melky Cabrera. That one's lined to left field. First pitch ambush, and 2 on with 1 out in the Cleveland first.
We'll take another look at this. That one stays up. That's a belt high pitch, and if there isn't any sink early, what will be ground balls later on are line drives, and there's been 2 of them, and they've been back-to-back singles.
Well, Covey out of the chute the other day gave up a couple of base runners in the first inning. He walked Ramirez with 2 out, then gave up a single to this man Encarnacion and got out of it eventually on a Donaldson ground ball. It's going to be an interesting postseason roster makeup for Cleveland because they still do have questions in center field.
Well, the big question is, they love the experience. They love the clutch hitting of Jason Kipnis. We saw some of that in Cleveland with the walk-off grand slam. But the question that will have to be determined by everybody associated with the intelligentsia that is the Cleveland Indians, will you trust him in the playoffs in center field? And it's a tough question to answer at this point.
Yeah, frankly, there were a couple of signs in that series where the Sox were playing in Cleveland that there's some newness or in the return of Kipnis to center field at the very least. He's played there before, but not a whole lot recently. Oh, 2. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Encarnacion done in by Kobe. 2 out.
A couple of fastballs got him to 2 strikes, and that breaking ball wiped him out. Great 0-2 pitch. This one is off the plate, but it's so close and so tantalizing that Encarnacion couldn't check it up.
For how long of the pitch's flight did that look like a strike, you think?
For him, probably 50 feet before it started to have the spin take over, and then all of a sudden when it started, it just broke straight down. It was the late break that really did him in, and in a perfect spot.
50 feet being well past your decision-making point.
Yeah, at that point, I mean, you're looking at it, you're going out to get it, at least to start to get it, and by that time, it's pretty much over.
Ball 1 to Yonder Alonso. Diaz at second, Cabrera at first. Scoreless first inning. Throw to second. It was a high throw. There was a chance there as Diaz gets back.
Love the fact that the Sox, the better part of a half season, are using that a whole lot. That'll shorten up primary leads. It'll shorten up secondary leads. It will put in the advanced scouting book that they will do that. Not going to help them this year, quite obviously, at the tail end, but it will help them for next year. In fact, I'll go out on the line and tell you that next season, I believe that Ricky and his coaching staff, along with the ball club, are going to mix in a lot more plays to take guys off base without throwing a pitch. I think that Ricky Renteria and his staff are getting comfortable with the defenders. I think with that comfort is going to come expanded responsibilities, and anytime you can get an out without making a pitch, that's ideal. And I think we'll see more of it.
I'm with you. This staff seems like the type of staff that when they see opponents more and more, they're going to gain more of an advantage.
And with just about everybody in his infield becoming better defensively, you have a tendency to want to risk more. And it is a risk. That's why most teams don't do it. They don't want to throw the ball around. But if you get good at it, it's going to really help you immeasurably.
Beautiful pitch, strike 3. Absolutely locked up Yonder Alonso. Kobe strikes out 3 in the inning and strands 2. Here comes Kluber after this. Tonight, Jason Benetti, Steve Stone with you, and here's the White Sox lineup. Sanchez up top, Polka up to 2, Garcia, Narvaez, Smith, and Delmonico, Anderson, Rondon, and Cordell your starting 9.
Let's look at the defense. And now Terry Francona is going to put him out there with Geyer, Allen, and Cabrera in the outfield. Diaz, Gonzalez, Rosales, and Alonso in the infield. Jan Gomes behind the plate and Corey Kluber on the hill looking for his 20th win. Each and every year, doesn't matter when it is, if Corey Kluber's in the league, he'll be a contender for the Cy Young Award with a whip of .98. You'd have to figure he's in good shape to get a lot of votes. With the sinker and the cutter, his two primary pitches, and the curveball right there, and it's outstanding.
Key to Corey Kluber is just how late those pitches veer off from one another. It's very difficult to identify out of his hand what he's throwing.
That's probably the most amazing part about Corey Kluber is that just about everybody's curveball goes up when it leaves a pitcher's hand. With Corey Kluber, he throws it so hard and gets over the top of it so much that it looks like it comes out of his hand straight and then disappears. And there was an example of it, and you can really hardly hit much of any of it. It's that good, and you cannot see it out of his hand.
Watch where it comes out of it, yeah.
It looks like a fastball when it comes out of his hand, and then there's some that he throws that will move more inside. There's some that he throws that will move more straight down, but they're all around the plate.
Yeah, that last one he threw Sanchez almost looked like a slider.
Well, at 82, it was pretty close to it. I mean, he just shortened up the break and put a little more velocity on it. He's able to do that. There's not a lot of pitchers can move the ball around in their hand and dictate velocity with the same arm velocity, but it comes out of your hand at different speeds because you're gripping it differently.
The ground back to Kluber. One down. Your 2018 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate, your trusted teammate throughout the mortgage process. Experience the difference today at rate.com. So with that said about Corey Kluber, how many total pitches do you think he throws? Pitch types, considering that he throws multiple types of each pitch. What do you think it looks like to the batter? Just an eyeball.
Well, I think he probably has a 2 and 4 seam, so let's go with 2 at that. He's got a changeup, that's 3. He has a couple of different type of curveballs, so that's 5. He probably has a slider, but doesn't officially use it all that often. But yeah, you would say he's got 6 different ways to make the ball move a different way, but more importantly, the speeds are different, and you can guess the pitch, but then you're not going to be able to guess the speed, and that's why he wins Cy Young Awards, a couple of them.
Yeah, we name pitches for ease of use, but for a batter, if they look like separate pitches, they register as different pitches.
And he's got a whole lot of those.
Daniel Palka, who's become one of the most lethal hitters in terms of how hard he hits the ball in Major League Baseball in his rookie season. Look, foul, 2-2. He is 1 for 8 against Kluber with a home run.
And that one was hit just recently in Cleveland.
Another ball that was just absolutely destructed by Palka this year. He's 3rd in baseball in home runs hit over 110 miles an hour.
Pretty impressive.
This one does not go 100 miles an hour. It's out number 2. So here's Avi.
Interesting night as far as our crosstown rivals are concerned, because Milwaukee and St. Louis are playing each other. So they have to pick up one game if they can win. However, heading to the top of the second, Pittsburgh leads 2-0 over the Cubs.
That's a fun race down to the wire, because the Cubs will see the Cardinals the final series of the year, and the Brewers play the Cardinals. So St. Louis has mammoth opportunities to come back. Here's the NL Central. St. Louis Still an outside chance of winning the division. In the wild card spot in the second chair right now. Ooh, boy. That is not a good strike for Manny Gonzalez.
Nope. I would say, as a rule of thumb, when the ball is 4 inches off the outside corner, it's probably not a strike.
Whoa.
And I think Gomes was doing everything he could to not look like he was yanking it back like a foot. But he got the call anyway.
Oh, magic trick from Yan Gomes back there. Yeesh. 1-2. Did he go? Yes. Kluber 1-2-3 first, and we are scoreless through 1.
On Duncan. And remember, you can share a little bit with your hound, but no chocolate. It's dog night tonight, my favorite night. Wonderful night to be at the ballpark. I think we have like 1,100 canines here this evening.
Some of them drove themselves.
They could graciously have my spot. I just didn't see any of them coming in the parking lot.
You didn't?
Mm.
Love dog night. I'm not a pet owner.
It's the greatest night at the ballpark. I mean, you've got a Shar-Pei sitting next to a poodle, sitting next to a Great Dane, and they all get along. I mean, that's a lesson in life for you.
As always, Steve Stone preaching unity, and I love that about you. I really do.
That's my middle name, Stephen U. Stone.
Line drive, third base side. That's a fair ball into the corner, and Yan Gomes ticketed for extra bases as Palka spins it back in. Leadoff double in the second inning for Cleveland. And we should mention, coming up in the third, we'll have a special guest here. Nick Madrigal, Sox first-round draft pick, will join us.
He had a very nice year as we take a look at Gomes. Inside fastball, especially down and in, not hard to get to. And that one, again, didn't sink like it probably will, just over the head of Rondon at third base. And as it rattles around, Yan Gomes in for 2 bases.
Here's Brandon Guyer, who gets a rare start against a right-hander. Guyer typically the masher of left-handed pitching. And he lays down a bunt third base side. Rondon charges to throw him out, and 1 gone in this second inning. Gomes to third for Eric Gonzalez.
Perfect bunt by Guyer. So called upon for just the second time this year, and he lays it down perfectly. You want to bunt it to third. You want to make sure that Rondon fields the ball. and move along Gomes, which he accomplished.
So the infield comes in for Gonzalez, who will hit a ground ball for you every once and again. 132 at bats this year, the most in his major league career, spanning 3 years now.
He's only walked 5 times, so it's another one of those guys you don't necessarily have to throw a strike to. However, you got Gomes 90 feet away.
Just missed, ball 1. How'd you like to be the AAA middle infielder, the backup middle infielder in the Indians organization right now?
Well, with the shift of Ramirez from third to second, now with the double play combination pretty much intact with Lindor and Ramirez, I would think it's time to look for another line of work.
Second base, Sanchez to Delmonico for out number 2. So we mentioned Cleveland going to the playoffs, 3rd straight year winning the American League Central, but the Indians have scuffled against the other divisions. They've hit the American League Central very hard. Cleveland and Atlanta this year have history on the wrong side for them. See those other teams. Only one made it through the division series in recent memory, losing record against non-division opponents.
Well, look, the Indians have a tremendous advantage when you can start off the playoffs with Corey Kluber. You're in very good shape. Doesn't matter who you're starting against, because he is fully capable of shutting down any offense. He can go head to head with Verlander in that first game, and it's going to be a dandy. And that first game, although it's not going to tell the entire tale, the Indians have to take 1 of 2 in Houston, you would expect, and they would love to be able to beat Verlander, Houston's ace, in that first game.
This is a foul ball. The other part of the news for Cleveland right now is that Trevor Bauer is scheduled to start tomorrow against the Sox.
He threw it pretty well last time out, went an inning and 2/3, I believe, and then left the ball game. So he's going to go tomorrow, and there's a chance he could throw some innings on Sunday. And then they'll make a determination. Do they feel he's bullpen best, or do they feel he's going to be their second starter? Because if he can start in the 2 spot, and you can go Kluber and Bauer and Carrasco, you got yourself a big 3 there.
Yeah, if you have Bauer as a starter, there's not as much pressure to win Kluber's starts.
No, and that's true. And although Carrasco's a terrific pitcher, but if you have Kluber and Carrasco both, you're going to be in very good shape.
We showed you earlier in the open, Garrett Cole and Justin Verlander, top 2 for Houston, and they have some good stuff behind them as well with Dallas Keuchel.
I was going to say, he's a former Cy Young Award winner. You got Morton, who's had a magnificent year.
It's really tough to pick the American League right now.
Well, look, I mean, I don't think there's one team that will tell you, you know, I couldn't use some help somewhere. Houston would like to have maybe another guy or 2 at the back end of that bullpen.
I think
Cleveland has those guys at the back end. Boston looks like they got a whole lot. But the question is, with David Price never winning a postseason game, which David Price is going to show up when he gets his second start after Chris Sale?
There's strike 3 and a ball down. Rosales strikes out. Covey wriggles free from the jam here in the 2nd inning. And Narvaez will lead it off, bottom 2 against Kluber.
That's an information sponsored by UI Health, providing expert care for you and your family. UI Health, changing medicine for good. Learn more at uihealth.care.
You know, we were talking about the American League playoffs as we stepped aside, and I want to get your reaction to what happened in the first inning tonight in St. Louis, because Craig Counsell decided to start Dan Jennings as an opener. Jennings comes out. He gets a ground ball from Matt Carpenter. Counsell pulled him. Freddie Peralta came in to get the next 2 outs of the first inning. As Omar slices this ball to left field, a leadoff single, second inning.
I'm wondering if you're going to be allowed to do that going forward, and I'll tell you why. Omar doing what he's done the entire second half of this season, which is just light it up. Little base hits to left. He hits with authority to right center. What a season it's been for Omar Narvaez, because he came into this year not really having established himself as a major league catcher to this point. And when the season started, that was the way it was until, I don't know, about what, middle of June, something along those lines, and he started heating it up, and he hasn't stopped.
So you're telling me, doubling back to the Brewers thing, you're telling me that you think starters may have to go a certain amount of time?
Yeah, I do believe eventually, because otherwise everybody will be doing that to load a lineup on one side. You put in a right-handed starter, the other manager loads it up with left-handed hitters. You bring in a lefty after one pitch, you can't burn your entire left-hand lineup to put in righties again, and I don't think that is the spirit of how they want a lineup made. I don't believe that's going to hold up too much after this year. And give you an idea, I was a designated hitter.
Yep.
And I was in there, I looked at the lineup, I almost fell over because I couldn't hit. And I went to Earl and I said,
so did the team.
That was Earl Weaver, did we trade for somebody named Stone? And he said, no, that's you. I said, I can't hit. He goes, don't worry about it, you won't hit. I was in the 6th spot. I said, why? Well, what am I doing there? He said, well, and this was Earl, who was as good a baseball man as there was. He found something in the rules that allowed him to put his designated hitter in and then wait and see what happened in that first inning. And then go to a pinch hitter for me, depending on if the starting pitcher was still out there. If it was a left-hander still out there, he would go to a right-hand designated hitter or vice versa.
Now that's outlawed.
That was called the Weaver rule right after Earl decided to use it.
Kevin Smith in the air to left center, and Allen for out number 1. You know you're innovative when they name a rule after you.
I mean, well, he looked at the rule book. He looked at the way you could do things, and he found the one little hole in the system to exploit, because Earl realized he had a very good team, but he was facing some very good teams in the American League East. So he wanted a little advantage, just a little bit. He felt if he could get a little advantage, and that was the advantage. That's what it gives you if you bring in one pitcher, burn him, and then turn your lineup over and let the other guy's lineup now be victimized by going and bringing in a right or left-hand pitcher, depending on what the lineup looked like.
The other thing it is, I agree with you completely. The other thing it is a referendum on the 40-man roster. Because if you don't have a 19-man bullpen, you're not going to throw a guy for 1 out at the beginning of a game.
And that goes back to what we were talking about before, is have the 40-man roster if you want to. Give guys the money that they get when they come up here for a month. Give them the time in the major leagues for a month. But 25 men per night on your roster, including, pick whatever you want to out of the bullpen.
Throw to first, not in time. Narvaez is back.
But we can't go unlimited bullpens, because you can go 25 with one starter. So you have one starter, that's all you're going to use on that night. You don't need any starters on that. So you have to go to maximum. Take a choice, either 7 or 8 guys in your bullpen max. That's what happens.
And you can manipulate that all you want within a series. Or you could tell teams that you have to set your roster of however many for a full series. So there wasn't that day-to-day manipulation. We'll see how it plays out, but it seems like that's gaining some traction as well around baseball, that idea.
Yeah, I think we'll see that. I think we're going to see a few rules brought in this year and a few more next year, as baseball tries to get the most competitive game they possibly can without letting a whole lot of people take advantage of the existing rules as they sit today.
Up and out, 3-1 to Delmonico. Nicky playing first tonight. Anderson to follow, then Rondon.
Normally Kluber will give you the occasional fastball here on 3-1, but he's probably going to take a little something off. This looks like an inside fastball.
Caught a lot of the plate.
Well, but again,
87.
he went inside at 87, so it's a perfect pitch for Kluber, who knows that Nicky is looking fastball all the way. He throws it, it looks like a fastball, and comes in 87, you hit the top of the baseball because there's a little sink on it. And that's what he can do. That's why 2 Cy Young Awards and in the running for a third for Corey Kluber.
Omar at first, 1 out. Line to right field, that's a base hit. Omar's on his way to third. Melky, save.
Nick Capra went down after the slide. And I think Nick is okay, and I think Omar's okay. Nick looks like he comes up a little gimpy from that, but Omar came in and beat the play. Nicky does a nice job of going upstairs and turning on this inside fastball, driving it to right field. And credit Omar, because when he got 3 steps from second base, he was looking at Nick Capra. The play is behind him, and rather than turn around to his right, which really would have slowed him down, he picked up Nick right away and just barely beat the play. Nice dive to the outside, and fortunately the hand stays on the bag the whole time. And Nick Capra goes down. Watch it again. Watch Nick. He gets tangled up with Les Diaz, and Capra's down. There you go, Nick.
Now that he's okay, we can say there's nothing more enjoyable than watching somebody's face mid-fall in slow motion.
When they realize that they're going down, regardless of what they want. Yep.
Again, we've got athletes, we've got people around the game, know every motion that they're using their body for, and then suddenly it all goes to pot.
Goes away.
Ball and a strike on Anderson, who just the other day became the first 20 home run, 20 stolen base shortstop in White Sox history. Question is, do we have one of those in the booth about to join us shortly? Middle infielder.
I would think so.
Nick
I would
Madrigal.
think eventually we'd find Nick there. I don't think at first that power is going to play, but I think he'll get better and better at it. He's strong.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to talk to him in the 3rd inning here. Tim, of course, with stranglehold on shortstop at this point. Madrigal, a middle infielder. Can't have too many good players.
No, and you have to have fallback positions because injuries happen, and when they do, you got to be prepared for it.
There's a sacrifice fly line where you'd feel comfortable sending Narvaez from third. Takes into account the arm strength of the outfielder, the base running speed of the runner at third, which is Omar. And we frankly just like a good green line every once and again. Who doesn't? Check swing. And he did go around strike 3. So 2 gone here in the 2nd inning. Rondon will bat.
There's another difference, and it's a subtle difference, but because his curveball isn't that big breaking curveball, because it's a very short late breaking curveball, guys just can't check it up. If you see that curveball coming for a bit, you have a good idea that it's going to be sinking out of the zone. You can check it up, but on Kluber's you start because you think it's a fastball, and then it just goes away. And that's what happened with Tim, and he was rung up.
Jose takes ball number 1. 2 on, 2 out, 2nd inning. 3 hits for Cleveland so far, 2 hits for the Sox, and no runs to this point. Nicky at first, Omar at third. Omar, of all the Sox hitters in the lineup tonight, has had the best success against Kluber in his career. Rondon's never seen him, and 2-0 on Jose. Corey Kluber, one of the best in the business since 2014. Home runs allowed a little bit up this year. Ryan Lamar was talking about it earlier, that when he was with Minnesota, there was one game where the Twins knocked Kluber out in the 3rd inning, and it was that Kluber was living in the fat part of the plate for most of that afternoon. Typically, he can pick off the corners with the best of them, but he does throw a lot of strikes.
Yeah, Corey Kluber is going to be around the plate. That's kind of what he's done for a whole lot of years now.
High strike, 2-2.
That was his cutter. Didn't do a whole lot. Rondon thought it was up. It really wasn't. Actually, because they're calling the high strikes these days, you're going to get pitches up here. There's the cutter. Even Gomes thought it might have been a little too high as he went to bring it back, but it was in the zone.
Pitch inning for Kluber. 2-2. On the edge, strike 3. Kluber does nip off that corner. Nick Madrigal joins us when we come back. Sox first round pick this year.
Lofted into shallow right center field. This one's trouble. Sundberg sprints over. The right fielder Wiseman dives. Nobody can make the catch. Gonzalez jogs around third base. He comes in to score. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Fastball chop goes off Walsh's glove on the mound. Madrigal fields on the backhand. Jump throw to first. Dugout by Remillard. They got him. Oh, wow. What a play from Nick Madrigal.
One of the 30 hits in Winston-Salem for the Sox first round pick of 2018. Nick Madrigal joins us here in the booth. Welcome. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So what's it like to be number 1, a first round pick, number 2, a College World Series champion, there's too long of a list. What's it like to be you?
You know, it's been awesome. This last year has gone by fast. You know, it's been filled with different events, but I've enjoyed everything that's come this last year, definitely.
Were you surprised by anything at all in your first year of pro ball?
You know, I really wasn't. You know, I was fortunate enough to have a lot of friends that are in professional baseball already, and you know, I'm real close with them, so they prepared me for, you know, what the lifestyle is like, the competition. So yeah, I wasn't really caught off guard at all.
Who are those friends? Who are you close with already in pro ball?
Dom Nunez, he's in the Colorado Rockies organization. Derek Hill in the Tigers organization. Rowdy Tellez for the Blue Jays just made his big league debut the other day. And the list goes on. I mean, there's a lot of guys that, you know, I'm familiar with in the game.
So you go a season striking out 7 times, and I think Sox fans see that and they say, well, how does he do that? Where does that come from?
You know, I think it just goes back to my preparation. You know, growing up, my dad's always thrown me batting practice, and you know, I like to say some days he's a little bit wild, so I work on hitting different pitches in the zone. But you know, that's been my game. I've always hit towards the top of the order, and you know, that's something I take pride in.
How bad is wild?
You know, it could go as far as you know, the other batter's box on some days. You know, he might scoot you off the plate someday. It just depends how he's feeling.
What does a ball out of the zone look like to you? What do you think your vision does that other people may not have?
You know, I think when it comes down to 2 strikes, I always have in the back of my mind, you know, what the umpire's zone is that day. But I also never want to leave it in the umpire's hands. So if there's you know, a ball that's questionable, maybe a half ball off the plate, you know, most of the time I try fouling it off and trying to get another pitch, because it's hard for a pitcher to, you know, paint on the outer half 2 times in a row. So, you know, I have that in the back of my mind.
You obviously have enormous talent. You wouldn't be picked 4th in the country in the 1st round. But from your standpoint, what do you have to work on?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. You know, there's a lot to work on. This offseason, the weight room is going to be big for me. You know, I've always felt like I can get stronger in different areas. You know, I can get faster. You know, and there's always things I can work on defensively and offensively. But yeah, I think those things are big for me at this point.
Tim Anderson from shortstop throws out Melky Cabrera. We didn't have you for very long. Can you stick around for one more half inning?
Sure,
Is
no
that
problem.
okay?
No problem.
You're not really in charge of your schedule anyway
No
today.
problem.
We'll catch a check from Bob Grimm. Bottom 3, no score coming up.
The 3rd inning is brought to you by the Subway Triple Play. Text Subway to 97999, and the 300th texter is going to win a $30 gift card. Subway, so much sandwich.
And so many quick outs. Nick Madrigal rejoins us for the bottom of the 3rd inning. What about Oregon State? What did you learn there? Because we see so many guys in the majors from Oregon State. What did you learn there from Pat Casey that you don't think you would have gotten somewhere else?
Gosh, there's a lot of things he's taught me, not only on the field but off the field. You know, I like to tell people he He really does teach you how to become a man and how you're supposed to carry yourself in ball games, but also off the field. And you know, that's something I'll take with me for the rest of my life. And you know, that whole coaching staff has treated me since the first day I stepped on campus. Me and my family, just unbelievable.
You get him a title, then he leaves.
Yeah,
he's giving it up,
I know. You know, yeah, I want to congratulate him on a great career. You know, he means the world to me, and you know, someone I'll talk to for a very long time.
What has he said about why and how much the title meant for him to do this right now?
Yeah, I think it's tough. You know, he's been doing it for a long time. You know, the program over there is in good hands, though. Coach Bailey, who took over this year, you know, there's enough guys where, you know, they won't take a step back at all, and also with the players there. But yeah, Coach Casey, I think, will be around definitely, so he's not going anywhere.
Who do you like to watch?
As far as
baseball players.
I mean, I enjoyed the game. You know, I just love baseball. We've always watched it as a family. It's been on since I can remember as a little kid. Yeah. You know, I've always loved watching the great players, the Derek Jeters, the Barry Bonds, the Ken Griffey's. You know, I've always just been a fan of baseball.
What have you noticed in terms of speed of the game as you climb from college to A-ball and the majors that you watch?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does get quicker. You know, I feel like I've played at, you know, the highest level at, you know, growing up. The competition level is, you know, it has gone quicker, but I feel like I've also learned a lot along the way. You know, there'll be some pitchers at the lower levels where they throw hard, but maybe they don't have the best off-speed pitches, and you know, I've learned that. And you know, there's different things at each level I've been at that I've picked up along the way, and I know that, you know, as I continue to go up, I'll, you know, continue learning.
You talked about wanting to hit the weight room. What's the goal there? What do you want to do to your frame and to your game?
Yeah, you know, I can get stronger in, you know, different areas, you know, from my legs to my upper body. You know, the biggest thing is to keep my speed, though. You know, there's a way to do it, and you know, I've talked to different, you know, weightlifting guys here and the people that help this program, and you know, they have it all planned out.
So it's already planned out for you.
It is. Yep. We got a whole system intact and ready for action.
So how many stolen bases in your fourth year? Have you plotted that yet?
I haven't yet. Not at this point.
Oh, Tani's got goals for like 10 years. Do you see that? He has like a decade. When he was a kid, he laid out like his goals for age 25 and 26 and 27. So I don't know if you had the same type of thing going on.
No, I don't at this point. I don't.
Get with the program, Nick.
I know.
Come on now. What are your next couple weeks like? Like, how do you ease into October, November, December? What do you do?
Well, right now I'm in the instructional league in Arizona, so I've got a couple days out here, and then I fly back tomorrow and just back to work out there. That'll go till the middle of October, and then after that, that's when my off season will start.
What was draft day like?
It was great. You know, leading up
You're still smiling. You still have like
yeah,
post-draft day smile going on.
It was a special moment, not only for myself, but for my family, and you know, all my teammates were there to celebrate with me, and yeah, it's just something that I'll take with me for, you know, the rest of my life, and I'm glad I got to share that with my family and my friends that were there.
If you could have any jersey number, what would it be and why?
You know,
this will be in play, and Avi with a base hit.
The biggest thing for me is as long as the jersey fits and doesn't go past my elbows, I'm okay with it. You know,
you have that problem in the past?
You know, each team I've been on in the minor leagues, the jersey's been a little big, but I've made it work. It's not a problem at all. But
what do you do with a jersey that's too big?
You know, I just try tucking it in as best as I can, and you know, maybe wearing a couple undershirts, extra undershirts.
Is this one good for you?
Yeah, this one's perfect. This is the first jersey that's fit me so far. So no, it's been great though.
It can both be great, and you can have a jersey that's too baggy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's okay.
Yeah, as long as it has the White Sox logo on it, it's fine.
What did the White Sox talk to you about as far as this winter is concerned when you're not at the instructional league?
Yeah, they've really tried to preach for my body to take a rest once the instructs gets over. You know, I'm a guy that always likes doing something, whether it's hitting or in the weight room. But they told me that the rest is going to be big for me this year just because I had such a long season. So yeah, right after this gets done, the instructional league, I'll probably maybe 3 weeks or so to a month, just kind of shut down and, get away from the game for a little bit.
What do you do during that time? How do you occupy your mind when you have time off?
I think I'm going to get into maybe golfing for a little bit. My older brother loves to golf. My dad, my brother. My dad's also into fishing, so I might go out there with him. And I don't know. I'm going to try to keep myself busy, but I feel like when I'm out playing baseball, I'm either watching on TV or, doing something related to the game.
When did you first pick baseball up?
Probably 4 years old. My older brother has played baseball his whole life too, and ever since I can remember, I was at his games, bat boying, or out there at practice, and wherever it was always baseball for him.
Your best moment in the game so far is, I would imagine, the College World Series?
Yeah, I would say just because of how much work went into that, and the first day I stepped on campus, that was the main goal, and to leave it that way was, pretty special.
How tense was it? Because you guys lost fairly early in that, which dropped you into the losers. But it wasn't like it was a real easy road and it was a foregone conclusion.
No, it was far from easy. It took everyone on that team from top to bottom. There wasn't one guy on that team that, we couldn't have won it without. And that's why it made it so special. Is because, looking back at the highlights, it was one guy after another coming up with the clutch hit and clutch performance, and just what an amazing ride with those guys.
Well, I'll tell you what, we were in Cleveland at the time when you guys had the loss. Then there was a long rain delay, and Jace Fry very vigorously said, we're still going to win this. Like, he did not bail on you, so you can know that.
That's awesome. That's the Beaver family right there. Oregon State. Yeah, love that.
How well do you know Jace?
I've got to talk to him a little bit here and there. Just from him being on camp, he's come back and thrown bullpens. So I've been familiar with him. I haven't got to know him personally that much yet, but I'm sure in the near future we will.
He seems like a decent guy.
He does, yeah. Everyone I talk to, nothing but good stuff to say.
Strike three, Narvaez goes down. Nick Madrigal, thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck to you.
Guys.
We look forward to watching you play. Nick Madrigal, Sox first-round pick this year, and of the third, no score.
White Sox debit card only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/White Sox to learn more. Wintrust Community Bank, member FDIC. What for her?
Who made the?
Yeah,
how did the sign
his
get made?
His or her second birthday. That's a wonderful sign.
Is it the?
Oh. Maybe it's the dog.
It is the dog because the dog's got a little party hat on. Dog's second birthday.
Very nice. Very nice. And the dog made a great sign. I like that.
Stick the marker in the paw.
There you go.
Yeah. Edwin Encarnacion takes strike one. Nick Madrigal, just early returns, having talked to him previously and then here, an absolute baseball junkie. Loves the game. It's notable when you ask people who your favorite players to watch are, and he goes back an era. Right, he says Jeter.
Yep.
He talks about Griffey Jr.
Bonds. Yeah.
That you have to try to find those guys as a player his current age.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's a very young player. He's played at the highest levels of, I'm sure, his high school experience and certainly his college experience. And so it's really nice to see a guy that loves the game that much, and he's got a world of talent.
A flare into center field is a base hit for Yonder Alonso, and the Indians are going back to their attack early strategy against Covey. Rain starting to drizzle down here at the ballpark.
Not supposed to be consequential rain, but right now there is rain.
Did you ever see inconsequential rain in concert?
They were very good.
Yeah. Thought so. Gomes doubled to left field in the second inning, then was stranded at third. That's called ball one. The high strike has been available for most of this game.
Yeah, that's
an aberrant call. Yeah. Well, hopefully the rain stays right here, because the Sox have had enough in the way of rain delays this year.
And I think there's more to come tomorrow.
Oh, don't say that.
Yeah.
Please don't.
Well, you know, I just think Southpaw and I are going to get
a little wet.
Yeah, a little wet tomorrow, I would assume.
I think Southpaw is just bored because he doesn't have Chuck Garfien to pal around with tonight.
You'll see him soon enough. And now Kevin Smith goes out to the mound with 2 on and a 3-0 count. He's trying to get Dylan Covey back concentrating, thinking about throwing a ground ball and helping at least with nobody out to get out of the inning.
Well, it's a different conversation if those first 2 pitches were called strikes. They weren't, so it's not. Reno for Yan Gomes. Line to left and foul. 3-0 green light in the rain for Yan Gomes. Oh, a Tim Raines jersey. How about that?
Appropriate for tonight.
Put it on even before it started drizzling.
In the meantime, Gomes has been trying to pull literally each and everything. If you can throw one middle away, probably going to get that ground ball to the left side.
That's the setup from Kevin. 3-1 in the air, first base side, and out of play it goes. 3-2. Wow. Wow again. 2 wows.
2 wows and a souvenir.
It's a good night.
Very good.
The joy one stray baseball can bring is mighty. 3-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Covey didn't give up on the top of the zone and punches out Gomes.
Nice comeback in that one. Gomes very unhappy with himself, but he goes away with no contact. Not wanting to leave it in Manny Gonzalez's hands, he goes down on strikes.
Yeah, pretty good pitch on 3-2.
Wasn't bad. Was in the zone.
Here's Brandon Geyer, who bunted last time. Breaking ball. Swipe, strike one.
We talk about Geyer getting hit a lot. He's been hit 10 times this year and 184 at bats. That is a lot of bruising.
That's Roger Dorn territory. Two strikes. Here's your Sox math question, brought to you by your local Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Audi dealers. AudiOffers.com has exceptional deals. Games left at home plus Don Cooper's jersey number multiplied by Moncada's jersey number minus Rondon's jersey number. You got it?
Get yourself a roster and you're in good shape.
Well, the real tough one there, if you haven't been watching closely, is what Coop's jersey number is.
Yeah, because he never shows his jersey.
Ever. Nice catch by Mike Sarbaugh.
Nice play. That one got to him pretty quickly.
Yeah, he was well up the line. There's Coop. It's got a 9.
Oh, we got part of a number. Part of a number. There's been a sighting.
You on the Sox math alert team?
Yep. We can get him just to move forward a touch.
Hey, Coop. Playing a game here. 2 strikes. To third. Rondon. Sanchez, quick turn. Double play. In a heartbeat, Sanchez ripped it over to Nicky to finish the top of the 4th.
The inning without giving up anything, and it was a good trick because he got the high strike, threw it by Gomes, and then Dylan Covey throws what he has to throw, a ground ball, 1-hop rocket. Rondon corrals it, gets it to Yolmer, a quick turn and a double play and out of the inning unscathed. Oh, by the way,
yeah,
I was just in case you were ready to go.
Line.
Yeah, and that is what Dylan Covey's always said: when you think of garages, think Danley's.
Off quoted on that. Kevin Smith, right center field. Allen on the case for round number 1. Kevin's tested out both alleyways and 1 down.
Found Allen equal to the task both times.
So 1 out for Nicky. No score, 4th inning. Thanks for joining us tonight. He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti, and you are wherever you might be this lovely but slightly chilly September evening.
There's a touch of autumn in the air.
A touch of autumn.
Yes, not a lot of it, just a touch.
1 down for Nicky. Have you ever thought about poetry?
I used to write it.
You did?
Yeah, a lot, actually.
Have you been published?
Yes.
Where?
A bunch of newspapers and a few magazines. True.
Up the middle, and it finds enough of a gap. Gonzalez couldn't corral it, and Nicky taps the brakes over at first.
In the perfect spot to make him 2 for 2. Doesn't get a whole lot of it, but gets enough to ease it up the middle. Gonzalez there, but he can't make this play. Even if he makes it, it's going to be a tough play at first base. And when this one left the dirt, went to the grass, kicked up a little bit higher than Gonzalez would have liked, hit the heel of the glove and onward into center field. 2 for 2 for Nicky.
Care to create a sonnet for tonight's game?
Oh, I can't make a sonnet with Tim Anderson on it. It's a small sonnet. It's a little sonnet, a sonneette.
On the ground and wide at third for strike one. A sonneette.
Yeah.
Where were you published? What magazines? What newspapers? Can we dig this up in the library?
You probably can. I don't want to share it at this point, but oh, wait a second. Hold on now.
This is from Sports Illustrated.
Yeah.
Bob Vorwald, our executive producer, shares this.
Dug that up.
I think this is a vintage stone. Every once in a while, our minds wander to bygone days of yesteryear. The hours of loneliness are forgotten because we are pleasure orientated. It's not a word. And memories are always sweeter.
I didn't say I was good academically. I just said I could. Yeah.
But we must never go back because imagination knows no time and reality is harsh enough to spoil the best of events. Took a little downturn. That's enough.
Yeah, there you go.
That was outstanding.
There was a few in my past, actually.
I don't think people know what a curious, thoughtful guy you are.
But that's good.
You keep that concealed.
Yes, I try to.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see if I can find it in here somewhere.
Yeah,
No, it's concealed. It's
we
with my
did go
it's
away
with
from
my
the camera
permit.
there, but Steve did pull down the zipper just to check and see. Yeah,
to
just
see
like
if it
this.
was.
Yeah,
No,
there
it's
it was.
concealed.
No,
That's
concealed.
it. Yeah, it's there.
Yeah, but you are an official poet.
Well,
You're
yeah.
like a level beyond Nipsey Russell.
A level and a half.
I'll round up.
Nipsey hasn't done much lately.
Unbelievable. Just can't leave it at nice, can you?
No.
Can't stay there.
No, that's too sentimental. But I'm glad we actually broke that out on Dog Day. You know, all these years of broadcasting, there's been a few that's never really been brought up on a broadcast before.
Your poetry?
Yeah, never. How about that?
Just went fishing.
Oh, geez. I know. Stay there. Don't come back.
Anderson fouls it away. Here's your Sox math answer. It is not in iambic pentameter. 3 times 90 plus 99, that's 102, times 10 is 1020 minus 20. 1,000 is your answer. 1,000. Coop wears 99. I Keep Cruising is your winner. And you win a prize off the prize shelf, including possibly the Gnome or a Steve Stone Poetry Slam ticket.
There you go. Could be coming.
And strike 3. 2 down here in the fourth.
Kluber continues to roll right along, but Dylan Covey matching him pitch for pitch. And Dylan actually picking up tonight where he left off in Cleveland, where he got the attention of Terry Francona with the stuff he threw, and the stuff tonight is still very good.
Two down for Jose Rondon. Delmonico at first. Foul ball for strike one. Sox split raffle the other night was awesome. Here's a thank you from White Sox Charities. 50-50 jackpot, just a huge number in the raffle. The Sox split proceeds go to White Sox Charities: jerseys, pants, socks, belts, hats for ace athletes, academic support, expenses for the RBI teams.
And the Sox put up that number. Largest shared jackpot of a professional sports team.
Awesome.
So there's the mark to go up against. $340,000+.
Yeah, 340 plus is
340 plus.
just awesome. And Sox fans once again show how much they like to, first of all, contribute to White Sox charities and everything they do, and second of all, win a lot of money.
And it was somebody watching WGN online that actually won that.
260,000 of that jackpot came from online contributors, and congratulations to the winner, who, as you said, was watching on WGN, but we can't share the name. They're still filling out some paperwork and trying to find enough mattresses to stuff the money underneath.
And nice places to go.
One and two, swing and a miss. Strike three. There once was a man named Kluber who continues to keep the Sox in a stupor. We're scoreless through four, and we'll be back for more.
Nationwide's Jeff Vukovich. Go to jeffvuk.com or follow him on social media, because Nationwide is on your side.
They certainly are.
Yes.
Good man, that Jeff Vukovich.
He is. I will probably see him in Arizona this winter sometime.
You will?
Yep.
Is he a big man or a smaller gentleman?
Large fellow representing Nationwide. Oh, you can always tell he's got the Nationwide jacket on. Big,
everywhere he goes?
Big end. Oh, yeah.
First pitch, strike one. This is 10 steps, turn, and fire for Covey and Kluber tonight. One ball, one strike on Gonzalez, utility player for Cleveland. Indians, the winners of the American League Central, had a long game against Boston last night. They were the Sunday night game, so Terry Francona trying to get some of his regulars a rest today. And we differ in our opinions of, it's even nap time for the dogs. Maybe not. We differ in our opinions
on everything?
On wins for pitchers.
Yes.
And their importance in evaluating pitchers. However, there is something still in this generation of pitchers to winning a 20th game, and Terry Francona had mentioned that he wanted to get at least some of the regulars in to try to help Kluber to 20 tonight.
Yep.
Here's another interesting thing that Terry Francona has been discussing. We talked about the time they have in between the last regular season game and the first playoff game. He feels like, based on what his teams have done in the past, that the key to early strong starts to the playoffs is not what happens this week. It's what happens the 4 days in between the last regular season game and the first playoff game.
Well, if you win your division and you have that luxury of the time off and you're not in the one and done game, then the creativity comes in how you keep your team ready to go for that period of time where there is no official baseball. I mean, you can play some inter-squad games, but you know, you got to be careful with who's pitching it.
Center field, Ryan Cordell for round number 1. Sox fans, we're giving back to you this Wednesday, September 26th. It's Fan Appreciation Night as the Sox take on the Indians, 7:10 p.m. for the last home game of the season. Chance to win a variety of prizes, plus stick around for the post-game fireworks show and post-fireworks poetry slam. Get your tickets at whitesox.com today. Just scheduled the post-fireworks poetry slam.
Ooh, great. Where are we doing it?
Your apartment, I think.
That's great.
I'm told by at least one of our tweeters that orientated is a word. It's chiefly British. That's where you got it from, right? All your time in London?
That's my extended family.
Your extended family in London.
Yeah, the Brits.
2 strikes on Rosales. Terry Francona has actually talked about at least possibly doing an intra-squad game with the ballpark open next week.
Just to give them a feeling of a crowd.
Yeah.
I think if they did that in Cleveland, watch their ball club, they could probably draw a few folks down there.
Yeah,
I think it'd be a good idea, actually.
I think so too.
Yep.
Be fun for the team. You could use some of the guys. I mean, there's no sanctioned roster issue, so you could use some of the guys from the 40-man roster that aren't going to be on the playoff roster to throw. 1-2. Wrap to third. Rondon off the backhand side for out number 2. You know, we talked about Blake Snell as a Cy Young frontrunner. Garrett Cole has put up some massive numbers for Houston this year. A 2.92 ERA. He and Verlander at the top of that rotation. We've seen Cole. His stuff's great.
It really is. And, you know, he came over. This was for him going from Pittsburgh. They were a good team when he was there. And going to a little better team in Houston. You wondered how he would hold up under the constant pressure of a team that was supposed to win. And it's been answered. He's had a great year.
Strikeouts per 9. Just about the best in baseball at 12.6.
Yeah, been magnificent.
Rain still coming down here at Guaranteed Rate Field, but not nearly hard enough to stop the game, which is good news. We've not gotten to the point in stadium construction where we have disposable domes where you use it once and then get rid of it.
Yeah, not yet.
Be an engineering marvel.
Depending on what you made it out of, yes.
Are you suggesting that some surfaces might not be a great idea to make a dome out of?
Yeah, like lead. Outside of that, you're okay.
I've always wondered why you didn't get into architecture.
Well, there's a thought.
3-0 for Allen. And that's ball 4. He's got some speed, so a flight risk over at first with 2 out. First walk for Covey.
You'd have to figure that he's going to be going. Just a question of when. Got 17 stolen bases, been caught 4 times.
Yandy Diaz was 1 for 2. He's got a single to right and a strikeout tonight. There goes Allen, and he is easily into second base.
That's 18 of them, and that was easy for him.
Well, Cleveland's been hyper aggressive in this season series anyway.
Yeah.
Plus, he's got speed.
A couple of their best base runners, however, not in the lineup. This is a straight steal. He never looked back. That was a sign that he was going, and he made it rather easily. Rajay Davis, a premier base stealer. He has not started too many ball games, but Lindor and Ramirez, both great runners.
Allen was well off the bag, but for the second time tonight, Kobe was high on a throw to second. Kevin Smith goes out to the mound to talk to Dillon. 6 in a row out of the zone after back-to-back outs from Gonzalez and Rosales.
Andrew Miller has something that former Cub pitching coach, current Yankee pitching coach Larry Rothschild really loved.
The towel drill.
The towel drill. Very difficult to hit that out of the ballpark. You give up very few home runs if you throw that towel consistently. Somewhere along the line, you got to get back to a baseball, however. Those have a tendency, when you miss your spot, to go out of the park.
Sounds like one of those by experience sort of issues.
Well, yeah, that's why I threw the towel as much as possible.
You threw the towel in?
That too.
Or you?
Yeah, both.
Can't leave that there and expect nothing's going to happen.
Yeah, I figured.
3-0 on Diaz. Melky Cabrera next. Green light, right field. Avi on the move to the corner to make the play. He tracked it well, and the inning comes to an end. Yandy Diaz gave it a ride, still scoreless halfway home. Sox trying to solve Corey Kluber tonight. No score. 9 total hits, 0 runs, as Cordell, Sanchez, and Palka will bat in the 5th. Game 1 of 3 between the Sox and the Indians tonight, as Cordell goes down a strike. First hit, the home run for Ryan Cordell in Baltimore. Out of Liberty University, Lynchburg, Virginia. High in the air and foul, 1 and 2. This Hispanic Heritage Month, MLB and the White Sox are celebrating the many ways Latinos put an accent on baseball. Share how you put an accent on the game with hashtag Ponle Acento. PONLEACENTO.
That's it.
That means put the accent on. Breaking ball sharp. Outside and low for strike 3 and 9 punch outs for Corey Kluber tonight.
Can't really touch that breaking ball. You just have to hit a fastball early in the count, because if you get here, he's probably going to get you, as he's gotten so many before Ryan Cordell.
One down, 5th inning. Here's Sanchez. 13 outs, 9 have been strikeouts. When you combine a 2-time Cy Young winner and the team that strikes out the most in Major League Baseball, that may happen.
There's going to be a few. There's going to be most likely in excess of 12.
5 straight years, 200 innings, 200 strikeouts for Corey Kluber. Here's a bunt on him. Gomes out in front of the plate for out number 2.
Nice play by Yan Gomes, who pounced on it quickly. He's got a strong arm. He got a good angle, which is the key. Come out far enough to get an angle and then aim for the outside part of the baseline with the base runner going down the line. And Yolmer wanted to bunt this out a little further, make Diaz field it. Couldn't get it there as Gomes gets it.
Two down for Polka. See if Daniel can get an early fastball. Probably not, though.
He might get an early fastball, but it's going to be right in on his hands, you would assume. And that's not it. There's a breakie.
Oof.
Yeah.
Looked like a fastball for a
It
while.
did. Short, quick, and late. That is the break on that one. Another slide.
Just off the corner, 1-1.
Looks like Daniel might be a step further away from the plate than he normally is. He's inviting the ball away and trying to keep Kluber from going inside on a fastball, which, as you can see, he can't do. I mean, Kluber's going to go inside, and that fastball is going to move like that. You can get off the plate as far as you want to, but it's not going to stop him from going inside.
And that's the type of location you're hoping for when you step off the plate.
Somewhere in there.
But the diagnosis is the issue. That was pretty well struck and foul. I mean, as you're sitting at home and you're watching the ball approach the plate, think about when the batter has to make the choice of whether or not to swing and what the pitch is.
Well, as you can see there, you got 3 pitches inside and one just barely off the outside corner on a backdoor slider.
In the dirt, strike 3. 10 punch outs for Corey Kluber. 5 innings in the book. No score.
Chicago fans.
Sox and Indians, no scores, 6th inning. Dylan Covey, who's pitched well at points but hasn't won a game since that jewel in Seattle back in July. In a deadlock here so far. First pitch breaking stuff from him tonight.
That call at the bottom of the strike zone, completely different. You're 2-0 or 1-1. It makes it a world of difference in an at bat.
One and two. A high changeup there. Nothing. I bet it's still 0. A lot of nothing.
Been an errorless game to this point.
The White Sox Newborn Club is the perfect gift for the newest member of your family. The package includes a Southpaw onesie and hat, a White Sox bib, and a customized White Sox birth certificate. Get yours today at whitesox.com/newborn.
Looks like might be an Airedale. Maybe.
We could play Name the Breed later. You're usually very good at that.
It's always a great game.
Nielsen Bonanza. Name the Breed. Do you have a separate talk to your dog voice?
It depends on the circumstances.
You become an attorney the last inning or so? Here's out number 1. We told you about Blake Snell earlier and Garrett Cole too. Luis Severino, at the beginning of the season, you would have thought Cy Young winner.
Up until about halfway. I mean, Severino was dominating everybody, and all of a sudden hit a dry spell. I mean, 18-8 is a wonderful year. That ERA is up a little bit higher than he would like, and now because of the inconsistency second part of the year, they're thinking about J.A. Happ in that first game for the Yankees. I mean, it's going to be a one and done game. They're going to pick the guy that can pretty much get them over the top in that one, and hasn't been decided yet, but it appears it's going to be Happ.
Looks like it's going to be Happ, yeah. Still to be determined where that game's played, the Yankees and the A's. Well, that looks like a pretty tasty drink. It's a big sip. Little slice of New Orleans in the crowd there. Two and one, and Encarnacion takes ball 3. Power hitting DH who has not seen Covey well in his career at 2 for 13.
Well, be careful here. He's going to go with a fastball, at least for the moment.
Wide to third, 3-2.
Kept it in a good spot. That ball was just barely on the outside corner, and even though Encarnacion looking fastball all the way, and 3-1 is a fastball count, he got his pitch, but not in the spot he wanted, and couldn't do anything with it. And there is Ramirez, Jose Ramirez, a magnificent year. Right there in the thick of the race for the MVP, as is his counterpart at shortstop, Francisco Lindor.
If you had to pick one of those two for MVP, which one would you pick?
At this point, I'd probably pick Ramirez.
Me too.
He's swiped more bags. He's been more versatile. I mean, obviously an everyday shortstop is worth its weight in gold, and Lindor is one of the best around. But they've played Ramirez at 2 different positions, and he's played them both well. So Ramirez 38 and 103 on the power numbers. Lindor 36 and 89. I mean, not much to look at and say, well, I think he did something wrong. I don't think he did pretty much anything wrong. These guys have just been brilliant.
2 guys that Sox are going to have to deal with for years.
Well, the key is, I mean, Mookie Betts is going to get his votes. J.D. Martinez is going to get his votes. So there's no short supply of MVP candidates in the American League. And I mean, guys with otherworldly numbers that are going to be right there and take some votes away. So you might see an unusual pick in the MVP.
Yeah, multiple vote split situations.
2 from the Red Sox, 2 from the Indians.
And Mike Trout.
And you can always say that. And Mike Trout.
It really should be Mike Trout and ... considering that he's basically been the best player in baseball during his career.
And every year, right there with the votes. Pitch number 83 on the way for Dylan Covey.
Rain starting to come down a little bit harder here. In the air, right field. Avi tailing it back to the warning track for out number 2.
Well, it's a very good thing that because of the rain, the wind has pretty much died down to almost nothing, because normally the wind's been blowing down the right field corner, and Avi, with no wind at all, goes back, and the ball just kind of dies at the track.
There are summer days where that's a home run for sure. Two down for Yonder Alonso. Well pitched game tonight. Covey and Kluber.
Look, Alonso knows that this is a special game for Corey Kluber, and also he is a home run hitter in a situation with 2 out, nobody on. He's only thinking about hitting the ball out of the ballpark. That is right now his job.
Breaking ball that was there, and he did not get the strike call. 2-0. It's been a little bit of a jumpy zone tonight based on the reaction of Kevin Smith. (3-0).
And he will have the 3-0 green light.
On the ground, Anderson lets it go through, and Alonso is on. Tough play for Tim, ranging over to second base.
I think that'll be the second hit of the night for Alonso. Doesn't get down quite enough, and that ball flattens out, goes into center field. And that is a base hit.
Nick has Tim Anderson's been so good to his third base side, to his right. And that time we saw him having to range all the way towards second base. As there's a ball high to Yan Gomes. Checking to see if he got a scrape. That's there for a strike. 1-1.
Some pitches up there called and some not.
Alonso at first. Gomes in the air, left field side, and this ends up in the seats. Guy in the Range jersey is getting a lot of run tonight. The reunion there, Range, Burley, Sale. Alonso at first, 2 down, 6th inning. One, two.
Sox pen starts to work. Ian Hamilton.
He's found himself in some close ball games since coming up from AAA.
He has. He's got a good arm. I mean, that's what the Sox are looking for, and that's what Hamilton has. Question of giving him the opportunities. Nicky Delmonico will move him back of Alonso at first base, who doesn't have great speed, and you want to get a better angle in case Gomes shoots the ball down that way. There'll be an accident if he does, because he's been trying to pull everything.
He does there and fouls it away. Struck out on that ball up and in on 3 and 2 in the 4th. Brandon Geyer awaits his next chance. Hey, look, a ball.
Pretty exciting.
3-2. Another foul from Gomes. So Dylan Covey making his scheduled second to last start of the year. He is the likely starting pitcher on Sunday in that finale against the Twins. Sox will finish the season on the road. Three and two. Swing and a miss, strike 3, carbon copy of the punch out in the 4th. Alonso stranded, no score. Hard to tell whether this is the first one or the second one, just about the same pitch.
Down for StatCast AI, powered by AWS, and in the 5th inning, a very good play Avi goes over in the corner. Gets there. Well, the sprint speed, the distance covered, and the catch probability will tell you it's a good catch. Way to go, Avi.
And he left that little trail just in case he forgot where he came from. Little colored dots.
You should never forget where you came from.
Always great advice from our
Thank
poet
you.
laureate.
Thank you.
Avi leads off the 6th, then Omar. And Kevin Smith. Got to have a run at some point, right?
We do indeed. And by the way, I found your former high school, the one that everybody goes to,
Homewood Flossmoor
is undefeated.
In football.
They're really good. The Flossmoorians are having quite a year.
And the Homewooders.
Homewooders.
Yeah, I had a couple people tweet at me and ask if I was going to go to the game on Friday night.
And the answer?
Happened to have 2 Sox games that night.
Can't believe you let that get in the way of your former high school.
I think Chuck should go. Ben Bradley should go. Lawrence Holmes should go.
Should.
The Merkins should go.
Yep. Big game.
One and 2. Wrapped foul. Chicago White Sox Charities would like to thank Mazda of Orland Park for donating a Mazda CX-3 for this year's car raffle. Visit Mazda of Orland Park online at zoomzoomnation.com. Zoom zoom. My folks back in the south suburbs in Orland Park. CJ Wilson Mazda. Not far from where I grew up. Foul first base side. How are the brush arcs doing?
Well, they're normally loaded. I mean, this would be a typical year. I would think that they would be probably getting trounced. Not necessarily as we speak, because I don't think they play tonight, but
they don't play big Monday high school football games in Ohio?
It's not a football. My former high school is not a football powerhouse.
It's not?
No.
They play 5-man football?
Our big guys are 170 pounds.
Strikeout number 11 for Corey Kluber, who has once again been lethal tonight.
Another good breaking ball. It's short, it's quick, it's down, and it's in a perfect spot. Give you an idea how difficult it is to win a ball game. And we've been talking about the proliferation of Sox strikeouts this year, and they lead baseball in striking out. If you strike out 12 times, you're playing a 9-inning game, and 4 of the innings you make no contact. Almost impossible to score when you make no contact. So,
Yeah.
you know, when that's one of the great additions of Nick Madrigal, because he was up here earlier, and nice young man. Looks like he's got a chance to be very good. First pick in the draft for the Sox, 4th overall, but he makes contact consistently. That's something I think will be addressed by this Sox lineup.
Well, he's something of a
In the coming years,
unicorn.
certainly.
Yeah, in baseball nowadays, you don't see that type of guy who has such a prodigious ability to handle the strike zone so early in life. I mean, the kid's 21 years old.
He's been doing it his whole life.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind of interesting that he learned a way offensively to make a huge difference at an early age, and probably had to because of his size.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to play the game and you're not going to immediately draw the attention of scouts, you have to do it some other way. Omar pumps it to center, but playable for route number 2. It was funny to hear him talk about his dad throwing batting practice and how he gained a knowledge of the strike zone because his dad was so erratic in throwing BPs sometimes.
Well, I think if you're very fortunate, and some people are not fortunate to have a father growing up for one reason or another, and if you have one who can help you along your way. My father used to catch me, and you know, he helped me.
Did he drop you as well in order to?
No, I mean, but not more than a couple times on my head, but outside of that, he did that up until I was 13.
Is that right?
Yeah, and then we went in the backyard, was catching, and the backyard was sloped down to the garage. So he would get in front of the garage, and when he missed one, it would hit the garage. And yeah. So my curveball was getting really good.
Like that.
Yeah, not quite like that.
Right.
If like that, I'd still be pitching. But yeah, there's a doggy. Could have been a selfie, but instead it's a doggy. Great picture. Look at that.
Just have to get it developed. You'll
Gotta
have it in
love the
3
t-shirt.
days.
Anyway, so I'm throwing to my father,
And
and
the stunning
we'll get back to it.
conclusion after this.
Yeah, this is a tease.
Steve was throwing to his father. ...
And that was it.
You'll find no, that there can't be it. It's not a tease then. It's a bad story. No score to the 7th. Professional grade, and it's the Sox minor league save leaders. Ian Hamilton, #1 with 22, and lo and behold, here he comes.
And he comes into this ball game, and there is no score, so the game is squarely in his hands. On for the 9th time. He's 0-1, ERA a touch over 4. Opponent's batting average at 174. That's been very good.
Hamilton will face the bottom 3 in the order: Geyer, Gonzalez, and Rosales in this 7th inning. Game 1 of 3 between the Sox and Indians. Don't forget, 2 more games at home this year. 2 more chances to see the Sox before we all go into hibernation mode and the snow starts to come. You're gonna look, if you're saying, well, I'm busy Tuesday or Wednesday night, kids have school, whatever. Once you get into November, you're going to say, I really wish I went out one more time to see the grass, to watch the boys play, and enjoy a day out.
And to watch Trevor Bauer and James Shields. And then, if you are so inclined, you can watch Shane Bieber. He of the 10-5 Biebers against TBA, to be announced.
That ball's hit well to left field. Polka back at the warning track, and the wall, and gone. Brandon Geyer lights up the scoreboard for the first time, and the Indians take the first lead.
Hamilton tried to get inside with a fastball, turned into the 7th home run of the year, and 27th driven in by Geyer. He hit it very hard, only on a night with no wind whatsoever, it didn't make it by much. See, Ian tried to get in there, he doesn't. And Geyer with the first run of the ball game for either team.
So the first run in tonight. And now Gonzalez hits this ball well to left field. Polka at the track again. He jumps, and Daniel's there this time.
There is the angle impersonation.
First one he sized up, didn't have a play. This one, nicely done.
Daniel with good timing, back to the wall. And at the top of his jump, I mean, this is timed very well. He measures it, he sees it, and right at the top, he makes the catch. Nice job.
Daniel has spent this season getting acclimated to the major league outfield. We've seen some moments, and he's been very open that it wasn't so good right off the top. But he's been improved in the second half of the year as Cordell makes the catch on out number 2. We've been telling you all night with Corey Kluber on the mound about the Cy Young candidates in the American League, and Justin Verlander, who had looked like a couple years ago might be headed for a downturn, might be headed for a drop-off. Well, that's not the case.
No, he's been just wonderful this year, and he's a candidate. He's had some stuff. He got off to a great start, and then things cooled off for him. But thrown it really well again, and he's their #1 starter.
Still got just a 2.60 ERA. 153 hits in 208 innings. He's allowing 0.9 walks and hits per inning.
Yeah, it's a remarkable run for a veteran, and doesn't have the tag of crafty these days. Not that he isn't, it's just that he's overpowering.
Yeah. You look back at 2014, he had a 4.54 ERA. He was giving up about 1.5 base runners per inning. And he's reinvented himself and found his way again. There's a strike, 2-1 to Allen. Milwaukee's taken the lead on St. Louis 2-1 in the 6th in a battle for second place in the NL Central.
And Pittsburgh leading the Cubs 4-1. So things getting a little difficult these days.
That's a base hit for Allen, who's been on twice. Cubs are up 2.5 games in the Central on Milwaukee, 4.5 on St. Louis.
Time now for the IDOT Safe Play. IDOT reminding you that safe driving habits really are a matter of life or death. Here's a little looper to left center field, and Allen on for the second time, and it's not going to be long till he tries to steal. So visit lifeordeathillinois.com.
Just buckle up. It's so easy.
That's it.
Allen draws a throw. He stole a bag in the 5th on the first pitch after his 4-pitch walk.
Kevin Smith looking over to see if they want to pitch out on the first pitch.
What do you think? Should you?
No, because he ran on the first pitch last time.
Yeah.
I'd try to get ahead with the first pitch. Although he's got a very good lead at first, and it looks like a very aggressive lead.
Which shortens on the throw.
What Allen would like to do, if he could, is get a big enough lead, but a one-way lead, meaning he's just going to go back to the bag on any first move. 13 feet is a big move, and he's trying to induce the best move Hamilton has because he hasn't seen it yet. That's one of the better moves he has, but he got back. So good base runners will try to do in a pitcher where they haven't seen the move live, where they've only seen it on video.
He doesn't run, and that's a strike. So he does get ahead of Yandy Diaz. Brandon Guyer, a home run in the inning, the only run in tonight's game. Guyer, usually the specialist against left-handed pitching. Homers off the righty Hamilton, who's preoccupied with Allen.
See if this is a pitch out.
It isn't. It's strike two. Bring a group out for a game in 2019 and get specially priced tickets along with a great experience. The White Sox have options for school outings, nonprofit organizations, and special occasions. Call 312-674-1000 for information. Sox will see Cleveland 12 times before June the 3rd next year. It's a front-loaded schedule with Cleveland.
We're there really early.
Second series of the year. First base side. Nicky has room, and he makes the catch. To end the top of the 7th inning. Cleveland gets a run, that's all. And the Sox will try to solve Cleveland and Corey Kluber and maybe the bullpen when we come back.
Nine. 34 innings, 36 strikeouts with only 20 hits. So the youngster is getting better and better as we move along in this season and doesn't feel like there's any ill effects from a full season of starts for Ronaldo Lopez, who's been really good this year.
A lot of wet dog tonight at the ballpark.
There's some of that.
1,260 canines, not including the teeth, here at Guaranteed Rate Field this evening.
2,520 paws.
Two paws per dog.
Yes. On some of those dogs.
Your math gives me pause. Ball one to Nicky. Two for two tonight for Delmonico, who takes a strike.
Well, the question is, we're in the 7th. Pitch number 94 on the way, and just how long will Terry Francona go with the man who will start game number 1 for him in the playoffs?
What do you think the calculus is here?
I think Terry's going to go as long with Kluber as Kluber wants to go in this one.
That's probably it.
Because he's the ace of this staff. Your manager will normally defer to the ace, knowing that he knows his body probably better than anybody.
To first, Alonso. We're out number one. Let's quiz Steve on his own career here. Sticks and Stone brought to you by Volkswagen. Visit your local Volkswagen dealer or VWdealer.com. I don't know if I like being an answer here. Who once told you the book on you is you're a loser, that you've always been a loser? You're a loser now, and if you ask me, there's a good chance you'll always be a loser.
Well, you haven't known me long enough to make that determination yet. That comes next year. So that would have to be, although I did work with Howard Cosell, and he is fully capable of making a statement like that, it was definitely Earl Weaver.
Definitely?
Yeah, definitely. All-Star break, 1979 in Oakland. In a meeting that we had with the pitching coach and me and Earl. The pitching coach between us because he thought we'd come to blows, which that wasn't going to happen. Earl was far too small.
Easy for you to say right now. He's not in the room.
Yeah, that was it. So I didn't agree with him, quite obviously. And
yeah.
That was it. But I think he was using that as a
confidence builder.
Well, a confidence builder, certainly, because it'll do some of that. But maybe some incentive. Earl was a crafty little guy.
There it is. Earl Weaver. Crafty little guy.
He was. He understood how to get the most out of players and the best out of players. Maybe that was his idea.
You think so?
It worked.
Or did he? Did he? Yeah.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have meant that. That wouldn't be very nice.
I don't know. I mean, we never really talked about after that.
Oh.
I do know that the next year he chose me to start the All-Star game, so he couldn't have hold any grudges.
That was nearly strike three on a nasty backup breaking ball, 2-2.
Yeah, he didn't want to throw it inside, but sometimes you throw it inside and you catch a break. But he wants this low and away and doesn't get it there. That's one of the few he's really missed badly on, and still almost got the strike.
That was a ridiculous pitch, by the way. You think Pitching Ninja's going to have it tomorrow? Your guy?
Oh, I don't doubt that for a minute. We're simpatico, me and Ninja. Yeah.
You used to hang out with the Ninjas a lot, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding?
Before you threw the curveball, you threw stars everywhere.
Oh, I thought the turtles you were talking about.
Yeah. 2-2. Off the plate outside. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
The thing about Kluber is when he does miss, he doesn't miss by much.
The demeanor of a CPA, the arm of a cannon. Rosales, round number 2. MLB at Bat is your #1 White Sox app. Customize your experience to get White Sox home screen icons and features like the MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today, and there you could watch, along with our game, Brewers Cardinals, where Josh Hader has just given up 2 home runs in the 6th inning, and the Cardinals have taken the lead against the stellar Milwaukee reliever, 4-3 in the 6th.
You know, we saw Hader. He wasn't giving up anything at that point. And it could very well be that he's been asked to cover a few more innings than normally he would, because he's starting to give up the long ball, and he's got great stuff.
He had a stretch of consecutive innings where he just gave up literally nothing. It was a strikeout machine, and the Cardinals have solved him, at least so far tonight. No go, 2-1. Sox last base runner was Nicky Delmonico back in the 4th. He eats up the corner, 2-2. All right, you see the first 4 pitches. Where do you go now?
He's probably going the same way with a breaking ball.
Second base, Rosales. For round number 3. To the 8th inning. 1-0 Cleveland.
And it's the Tribe for 2 more, and then it's on the road. And that's the first of 2 in a split doubleheader at the Twins. Ram Trucks built to serve. Jace Fry comes into the ball game, and he's got a 1-0 deficit.
He'll face Melky Cabrera, Edwin Encarnacion, and Yonder Alonso. Home run, Brandon Geyer in the 7th inning, the only run in Kluber versus Covey tonight.
"57 times Jace Fry has ascended the hill, ERA of 4.38.
Avi on the move into the alley to make the catch for round number 1. Had it the whole way.
Darryl Boston appreciates that. Avi's had a good night in right field. Made a fine catch heading toward the line, and this time in the alley.
He's a little winded, though.
Yeah.
A long way to go.
Took a double away from the Milkman.
Breaking ball misses to Encarnacion. Sox in the bottom of the 8th will have the 9-1-2 hitters, Cordell, Sanchez, and Polka. Off speed for a strike, 1-1. Ooh, called strike 2, 1-2.
Juan Minaya loosening in the pen.
That was strike 3 and he didn't get it, but he got strike 2 when maybe he shouldn't have. So
it all evens out.
You know what happens last time you use that phrase?
I do. What happens?
Last time,
yes.
Yeah. There's strike 3. It doesn't all even out. Hawk was right. 2 out.
Slider inside, down and in.
You got half a cough button?
I do. That's what happens late in the game. Cough button gets tired, only works half the time. Should look into that.
2 down for Yonder Alonso. And a hook for a strike. Two hits tonight for Yonder. And 3 hits tonight for Yonder. Sox fans, StubHub is your ticket to once-in-a-lifetime experiences. From Chicago White Sox games to amazing concerts and shows you don't want to miss. StubHub, your ticket out. StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Chicago White Sox. Jace Fry will face Yan Gomes in the 8th inning. Again, the Sox have the 9, 1, and 2 hitters coming up in the bottom of the 8th. And you'd imagine, regardless of how Gomes would get on, if he did, Brandon Guyer would see Manaea.
Andrew Miller, who was throwing a bit earlier, this time has taken the towel away and is using a baseball.
Closer to ready for play.
Yep.
Now 2 balls, no strikes for Gomes. Three and 0. Swinging here.
Terry's given them all 3-0 green lights tonight. Can't see why he'd change here if it's in the zone.
It's not. Ball 4, and expect Juan Manaea with Guyer coming up.
Well, the problem is, if you get Manaea for Guyer, and it looks like you're going to, then I assume you're going to get one of his legion of lefties that are sitting on the bench waiting for you. So as Ricky walks out there, he's made the change. Manaea's going to come in. Now the ball is squarely in Terry Francona's corner. Let's see what he decides to do, and we'll step out and wait. He's 2-2. His ERA is 3.5. He's gotten better and better as the year has moved along. Opponent's batting average, very nice, 223. And Guyer's going to be left in the game, so he is going to face the right-hander.
The legion of lefties, while they sound fierce, have the day off tonight.
Yeah. And there's our 4th drive of the game. It is the only scoring of the game. Visit your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com. And just one hitter later, Daniel Polka went back and made that catch. Almost identical.
Two on, two out, both the property of Jace Fry. And ball one. There's a strike, 1-1. High fastball, 1-2 on Geyer. Anaya on 1-2. Gets a sky-high pop-up, first base side. Sanchez. We're out number 3. 2 stranded. Still 1-0. Bottom 8 coming your way. Cordell, Sanchez, Polka.
Corey Kluber getting a hand.
He normally doesn't need one.
And he's something.
We see the guys we showed you earlier today. Some of the Cy Young candidates. Kluber is always in the conversation.
What a job he's done this evening. He'll leave with the lead. If the lead is held, it's the 20th win for Corey Kluber. He had a great breaking ball tonight as Andrew Miller takes his spot. Miller on for the 35th time. He's had an injury-plagued year. ERA just around 3.5. When he's entirely healthy, he doesn't peak 3.5. Not even close to 3.5.
No, when we saw him in Cleveland, it looked like he was back.
Brandon Barnes checks in right field.
Kluber 11 strikeouts tonight, 1 walk. Nasty slider.
Well, if he's entirely 100%, his slider's as good as anybody in baseball and better than most. And you guys said that night in Cleveland the fastball was lively and he had his control as well as that exploding slider.
Yeah, it was scary. blooped right side. Rosales for round number 1. That would be huge for Cleveland's prospects in the postseason if you have Miller to deploy in a key spot.
Well, as good as Brad Hand is, and he's going to be the guy normally at the end for Terry Francona. Allen has been sketchy in and out, but it's been Hand pretty much at the end. But if you have a healthy Andrew Miller, that becomes as good a back end of the bullpen, and probably the best back end of the bullpen, maybe out of all of them.
Yankees maybe to challenge,
depending on the health of Chapman.
Yeah,
I mean that's a big factor for them.
Ball and 2 strikes on Yolmer. Got a good look at that fastball and fouled it away. Palka next. Although Matt Davidson has grabbed a bat and is on deck with the left-hander on the mound. Flip the corner, strike 3. Back door.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be particularly fair to be able to throw that nasty slider down and in to the right-handers and then use it backdoor on the outside corner. Those right-handers have a tendency to give up, and then it snaps over for a strike. Good tight spin, and he caught the corner, and Yolmer down on strikes.
Opponents are hitting just 188 since Miller's returned from the DL, and that has been declining in recent days. So Davidson batting for Palka with a chance to tie the game with 1 swing.
That almost got him.
Two balls and a strike as Nate Jones gets loose in the White Sox bullpen. Dollar Dog Night coming up on Wednesday.
The final Dollar Dog Night.
Breaking ball downstairs, 2-2.
Not quite as good as the regular Dog Night, but still very good.
Dog Night tonight.
That's it.
It's a doggy bag. How about Jan Gomes and his job there? Just get in front of that thing. Who knows where it'll hit you?
And there's nobody on, but he's doing it for practice just in case. Because with the game on the line, he's going to have to do the same thing with the same guy on the mound. So you might as well get used to it.
Three and 2. Called strike 3 on the inside corner at the very fringe of the edge to end the inning. We'll go to the 9th in a 1-0 game.
And time now for Xfinity high-speed replay. And Daniel Polka, top of his leap. This would have been back-to-back home runs, but Daniel had other ideas. A fine play it was. And Nate Jones comes into the ball game. Nate on for the 32nd time. He's 2-2 ERA, 2.20. Got to hold him right there. Give the team a chance late as Matt Davidson stays in the game to play first base.
So ball one to Eric Gonzalez. The Sox in the ninth will have Garcia, Narvaez, and Smith scheduled. 3, 4, 5 hitters. Sox came in to this game 3-4 against Cleveland here at Guaranteed Rate Field this year. Trying to level that season series in this ballpark at least after quite a thrash in Cleveland. Some mysterious things happened in that ballpark this year.
Not too many things went right.
Nate feeds in a strike, 1-2. Rockies are drubbing the Phillies tonight 8-0. So Colorado trying to stay alive in both the NL West and the NL Wild Card. That game in the 6th. Milwaukee trying to come back against the Cardinals now. 4-3 St. Louis, top of the 7th, but Milwaukee has runners on. In the American League, most everything's been decided with the exception of where Yankees Athletics will play out in the wild card game. Swing and a miss, strike 3, breaking ball. The slider for Nate, 1 down.
It'll be real interesting because the Yankees and Boston end the series in Boston. Interesting to see if Boston actually tries to get them on the road for the playoffs, as you see a slider and strike 3.
With the Yankees and A's playing in the playoffs, you think we may see that Derek Jeter play once or twice?
Probably not, no.
No.
Eh.
It's in the mothballs
it's
for
history,
good.
Yeah.
Rosales takes a strike.
Hector Santiago loosening up.
One and one on Rosales out of Western Michigan in lovely Kalamazoo. We're fighting Tony Scheffler's.
That was in the MAC when I played in the MAC.
Still in the MAC.
Still in the MAC these days.
That ball is clubbed to left field and gone. Rosales.
Fastest home run trot in baseball, by the way, by far.
Yes, he does.
Didn't get a chance to use it very often. That's just the first time this year, but it's back home. He's from just down the road, and he takes it right down the line, right inside the pole. The first home run of the year, the second driven in. So Rosales gets a start in front of the home folks, and looks like takes a hanging slider and hits it out of the park. And then he's off to the races. Fastest home run trot in the major leagues by a long shot.
So the genesis of that home run trot is they're going to go and check and see if the Sox want to review this. Yangervis Solarte, when he and Rosales were teammates, Solarte lost his wife to cancer over a weekend. Rosales then hit a home run, and to honor Solarte, who has a tendency to do the same thing around the bases, decided to sprint around the bases in honor of Solarte's late wife.
And continues to do it.
That ball's drilled to right field, and Avi has to play it off the wall.
Allen just misses his 3rd home run of the year. He goes down and gets it and takes it high off the wall. Avi does a nice job because Allen has good speed. He's thinking about 3 bases when he left the batter's box, but Avi, after a slight stumble, gets it back in and holds him at second.
1 on, 1 out. Diaz the batter. To finish that story on Rosales, so Solarte, when he had hit home runs that season, had a big pronounced overhand clap that he used to do. So Rosales sprints around the bases and then kind of looked up to the sky and made that clapping gesture. So always notable, the home run trot for Rosales. Anderson off the spin and didn't get him. Davidson was off the bag and Diaz was coming hard down the line.
I don't think Matt could believe that that ball would get to the bag even in the neighborhood of where the base runner was, and Diaz was hustling down the line, his 2nd hit of the night. And when Matt did get the ball, he was not on the bag. Great play by Anderson. It's hard to believe he got it there, and a little late on the tag.
Yeah, they weren't going to get him anyway,
No.
I don't think.
No.
Probably not worth the challenge there.
I wouldn't think so.
Right side and through. That's a base hit for Barnes, scoring another one, and Cleveland's pouring it on now in the 9th. Well, the Sox haven't put up much in the way of offense tonight, but let's think about the days when they did. It's our random White Sox leaderboard tonight. And on the old random White Sox leaderboard, most Sox games with 10 or more runs. Sox had 28 back in the year 2000. How about that 19, 25, and 24 group? Big offense back in the mid-20s.
They were loaded.
Were they?
Apparently the pitching wasn't where it should have been.
That ball's ripped to left. Here comes Diaz around 3rd. Throw to the plate is late, and it's 4-0 Cleveland.
That's 101 driven in for Encarnacion.
And it's going to be Hector Santiago. So it's a 5-hit inning already for Cleveland. And Nate Jones will leave the game after a 1/3 of an inning. Hector coming in, and we will show you what happened this day in baseball history. 1940, Jimmy Foxx's 500th home run. Last game at Ebbets Field for the Dodgers in '57. And Al Kaline's 3,000th hit. We've seen Al in Detroit. He looks great.
He looks terrific. Came to the big leagues, I believe, at 19.
By the way, the 1924 White Sox, with all those 10-run affairs, did it without the necessity of the home run for the most part. It was typical back in the 20s. The most homers on that 24 team was Harry Hooper with 10. But they put up 10 runs 22 times.
Small ball.
Oh, yeah. Get him over, get him in.
Brad Mills on the phone. Might be a different configuration for that pen now that it's a fairly comfortable lead.
Was he on the phone with video replay there? It looked like the video replay phone box was open. Just chatting about the telecast or what?
Could be. Hector
They
Santiago.
do Sox math yet, he asked.
For the 48th time. 6-3 ERA of 4.38. 2 for 2 in saves. Overall a good year. Got his hands full trying to stem the tide of the Tribe, who was very quiet tonight until the 9th inning.
You know what? I was reading Brad Mills' lips. He did say, was the answer Earl Weaver?
He was right.
Yeah.
Look at that.
can play along on the bench for Volkswagen Sticks and Stone this year. It's a new feature.
Yeah, the take-home game is going to be big this winter.
Still in development, but boy, when it's finished.
Oh, it's going to be great.
So Hector's on.
By the way, Milwaukee has tied up St. Louis 4-4 as they head into the bottom of the 7th. The Cubs heading to the bottom of the 9th, losing 5-1 to the Buccos.
Schedule makers got that one right. St. Louis and Milwaukee the last week of the season, that's for sure. Davidson at first decides to take the out at first. Barnes to third, Encarnacion to second. Rajay Davis, I should say, pinch running for Encarnacion. Two out, Yan Gomes. Double in the second, 2 strikeouts and a walk for Gomes tonight. Cody Allen getting loose in the Cleveland bullpen. He hasn't pitched much at all.
Nope. But they got to get him an inning every now and then. It's a non-save situation for a man who closed a lot of games for the Tribe over the last few years. He was the primary closer. In fact, that combination of either Shaw Miller or Miller Shaw and then Allen was pretty good for the Tribe. Took him within 1 game of the World Series.
Oh, 2. He struck him out. Bottom 9 coming up. Sox will face Cody Allen down a bigger number than they wanted.
We headed to the bottom of the 9th inning. It's a 4-0 game, and Cody Allen comes into this one on for the 67th time. His ERA just over 4. For saves, 27-32. Opponent's batting average is good at .223, and he comes on to pick up an inning.
So Avi 1 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. A couple of nice plays in the outfield tonight as well.
Wind has shifted a bit and it's starting raining again.
Cool, that's fun.
And the wind is blowing in now. That's really what you'd like in the 9th inning down 4 is making it more difficult to hit.
You're being ironic.
Yes.
Corey Kluber, again, masterful tonight. 7 innings, 4 hits, shutout ball, 1 walk, 11 strikeouts. As Allen feeds in a strike. 7:10 tomorrow night will be on NBC Sports Chicago. Trevor Bauer, James Shields, your pitching matchup. Then Wednesday, 7:10 finale, fan appreciation night. One ball, 2 strikes. Breaking ball for strike 3. 14 punch outs for Cleveland pitching. Some first pitches of note recently. Daniel Palka with sister Mary Jo. He says that somebody from Marian Catholic tweeted back at him and is going to get him a jersey. So he wants his sister Mary Jo Marian Catholic jersey. Tim Anderson getting to hang out with the cast of The Chi. Big day for Tim. And Nick Madrigal tonight. We know he can hit. Can he throw is the question.
I should
Especially
hope,
with long sleeves on.
I should hope so.
Giolito tried to frame it for him. There's a little bit of a height disadvantage there.
Yeah, we drafted him the 1st round with the 4th pick. We're not sure if he can throw exactly, but if he can, it's going to be a good pick for
I'm
us.
just saying tonight. I was building drama.
Drama.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay.
Heavy drama on whether or not the first pitch was going to be a strike.
He was a nice young man. Came
Yes.
up here and very excited, as you can expect. He had a nice year. And we'll go to the Arizona Instructional. Well, not the Instructional League, the Arizona Fall League.
Fall League.
And
he's already in instructional ball.
yeah, I mean, you know, play for a little bit, and then that'll be it. He will rest the rest of the off season in preparation for what should be a big year for him next year.
Yeah. Well, you saw Lucas's smile on his face after the first pitch. It was nothing compared to the smile that he had on his face after getting to catch Kanye West's first pitch.
Yeah.
Walked into the clubhouse. Lucas said, "You see what I get to do? See what I did on Sunday?" Yeah. Yeah, you got to catch the Kanye West first pitch.
Won double figures in his first year, and he's very excited about the Kanye West first pitch.
Just taking some swings in the dugout.
Terrific.
Off day for Lucas. There's strike 3. Omar knew it. Were you ever the first pitch catcher?
No.
Did they ask you and you just said, I don't want to do it?
I would have loved to have done it, but never got the opportunity. They were afraid of my hands, I believe.
Hands of stone, of course.
Yes. Manos de piedras.
You listened in Spanish class.
Now I watch Roberto Duran fight.
Yep.
He was pretty good.
Uh-huh.
Young Roberto.
Up and in. Couple of boos for the road for Cody Allen.
He sailed it up and in, and Kevin was able to get the elbow out of the way at the last instant.
Jan Gomes ducked.
Well, what Jan Gomes was concerned about was it tips off Kevin
Ricochet.
and hits him in a spot that he's not expecting. That's not good.
The old ricochet.
Having been a catcher, that's not good.
But not for first pitches.
No, didn't catch for first pitch, but I would have asked for the gear if I were able to.
2-1. In the air, center field. Allen completes the shutout. Cleveland wins by the final score of 4-0. Corey Kluber gets that 20th victory that Terry Francona wanted for him. And Cleveland wins the opener. 4-zip, we'll step aside, wrap it up when we come back.